Not to fear, we have a solution. A show where you can learn the art of dispute. Filmed under the glorious technicolor of rainbows and rifles, with a cast of teddy bears armed with switchblades. Where both the opinions and the adult beverages are strong. Tune in, turn on, and comment your giddy hearts out. We're going live in
3, 2, 1, action!
All right. We never know. You know, this is kind of like, is it? I think he said he flies. Welcome to the Art of Dispute, the only show where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour. I mean, you're like watching, you're like, I really like this guy. Hey, he's rude. It just happens. That's how we roll, right?
I still like you anyway, Joe.
Right. Yes. America, we have a problem. You know what I'm talking about. I refer to it lovingly as the zero to Nazi effect. What is that, Joe? I'm glad you asked. That's when you post something on social media and people start flipping out. What? Yes, and it's the length of time it takes to go from 0 to you're a Nazi. I will now punch you in the face and go outside and set fire to your car. Because that's just how we roll these days in America. Well, you know, that's an interesting point. I very much disagree, so I'm going to go ahead and hit you now.
Yes,
and,
very civil. I'm gonna civil.
do you have a lighter? Can I borrow a lighter?
There you go.
I'm going to set something on fire.
There you go.
There you go, thank you. No.
It has an American flag on it.
I will be right back after I set fire to something.
That's democracy now.
Yeah.
That's democracy, yeah.
Why, thank you for that lighter, Rem.
Anything to help my fellow American.
Yes, exactly.
America.
Well, let's cue the music. Cue the music. So we have a fun topic today. We've got a really heavy-duty topic, and I'm gonna let you guys know what it is. We're talking about, should we remove under God from the pledge? Should we just get rid of it? Is it too controversial? Is it too much of an issue? Or was that what we're founded on, and let's keep it? What are your thoughts? Be sure to chime in. Let us know what you think. But before I get my guests' opinion on this, I'm going to give them the opportunity to give a shameless plug, promote what they're up to, tell us where they're at, all that sort of thing, because that is part of their exorbitant pay package for being on the show. So, Alexis.
My name is Alexis Robbie. I'm an executive producer and showrunner for Esquire Entertainment, LLC. We are a content creation company making nothing but reality television right here in Houston, highlighting the best and brightest of Houston, really putting Houston on. And I really would like to say thank you to Joe for bringing me out. I've been working with him for years and years and years in the film business. He's an awesome person, and I love this show, Joe. I love you.
Wow, I didn't even pay to say that.
Looks like you owe him some money, yeah.
Here's that 10 I owe you.
Donna.
Hey everybody, I'm Monica Branch. I branch out. I'm your Houston lifestyle realtor and expert. So anything you need, buying, selling, investing, I'm here for you. He got you for life insurance for the rest of your life. I help you with the life you want to have in a home that you want to build a life in. So if you want to branch out, call Monica Branch, 832-230-7911.
And that's a cut.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey guys,
Ben.
I'm Ben Ashworth. I work on a couple of different projects. I do investing, marketing, advertising. I'm working on a mini docu-series that's coming out called The Axiom Theory. We do optimistic, explorative entrepreneurship for the millennial generation. So,
Wow.
you
Yeah.
can find me at The
that's
Axiom
amazing.
Theory on Facebook.
It's a theory about
Just a theory.
axioms.
Just a theory. Hey, Joe. Yeah, just a theory. Hey, Joe, I
Sounds
thought we
interesting.
decided to talk about the other issue, the Harvey. I thought we talked about that,
Hold
didn't
on. He's the moderator. How are you going to take that?
I'm a guest.
Okay.
I'm a
Lord.
guest here.
Look, it's been changed now.
You know, I think she's right.
Mm.
We had a great debate back and forth at the beginning of the show. Two topics side by side. But that's a good catch.
It is a good catch. It's
We
up
will-
to you. It's your show. We
We'll
can do it.
just make that change right now because we have that kind of power.
Yeah, we do.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, It's a good time. I'll go ahead and ask the question and let you guys run with it.
Absolutely.
So yes, topic change. Forget the earlier thing I said because I'm a moron.
What were we talking about?
Yeah, right.
What is the subject now?
Right. So here's a question for you guys.
I do know.
Recently, California, they've got some crazy fires going on.
God bless you, California.
And yeah, it's like we feel for the folks out in California. They have a lot of fires in California. It seems to be a kind of a reoccurring nightmare.
Yep.
But they just had that issue. But not too long ago, right here in Texas, we had the biggest flood in American history. Most rain to ever hit the ground since we've been measuring that sort of thing.
Trillion gallons.
Yeah, it's
17.
just stupid. Some incredible amount of water. And so what happens when the federal government then says, hey, Ohio, you need to chip in for California, right?
Yeah, there we go.
And the federal government just uses our tax money to help out these states that, kind of have these continual and big, massively expensive disasters. The northeastern coast, Florida. Florida's been hit by hurricanes more times than I can remember.
Yeah.
I would probably just move at some point. I'm like, yeah, I can't. I don't want to deal with this
Move
anymore.
to Texas.
Right. We got it. It's way better.
Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah.
Our beaches are way nicer than Florida.
Yes. So is it
Think of it how you
fair?
have it.
Is it fair to the rest of the United States that they have to chip in and support like the states that have these continual big disasters? I mean, is it right that, Washington State is chipping in for, California or Idaho? I mean, like, do they have anything going on in Idaho?
That's
Like,
where we begin
They
the...
have great potatoes.
Right.
Like, they have the best potatoes. Every time I
That's
go to
lots
Five
of lakes.
Guys.
Well, if they're going to ship them to California to help them make vodka, well, then that's their part.
Potato vodka?
Your potatoes makes vodka.
Really?
Welcome to the Potato Vodka Show.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Did not know that.
Yeah, but it has to do with
Today
taxes.
I learned.
So that's the topic at hand here, guys.
That begs the question, though. Is it federal money that we're using, or is it state money?
Well,
state
yes.
money is federal
Yes, it's both.
Oh.
And so let's get y'all's take on
That's
this.
my
Let's get your
question.
take. What do you think? Should other states have to chip in? And what are y'all's thoughts, sir?
It shouldn't be required if a state has the money to, and not to just take care of their own people in that state. If they have the ability to take care of another state, why not help your brother? That's what United States was built on, correct?
It was?
It was. It was. Alexis, we have to talk some more.
Okay. So if it's federal money, it's not one state that's shipping in.
Founded
It's
on
the-
Yeah,
helping
help.
our brother.
It's not just one state that's paying. It's not like Ohio
Got it.
that's saying, okay, well, we're going to be the only state that's helping out California.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
federal government, which is like this collection plate, so to speak.
It is.
A forced at gunpoint collection plate.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Got it.
Right.
You know?
Yes, but that's the thing. That's our collection plate. We're put into it. So what happens to
And
that
yeah,
collection
for your
plate?
taxes.
What if there's a huge sinkhole,
Those
right?
toxins.
And Ohio, right, disappears. Should the rest of the states help to rebuild Ohio?
Okay, but
Well,
what
if
about
there's
the...
a sinkhole, what are they going to rebuild?
Just
Well,
fill in
what
some
if-
dirt. You
what
know?
Donate
Donate dirt.
We're
What
just gonna
about
do that,
that? What
yeah.
about that part in history where there was a group of guys who didn't like taxation or to be taxed or to told what to do? What happened to those guys? Oh yes, our founding fathers. So they came over here because they didn't like some of that stuff going on. So they came here to build a country and an America that they could live in that wasn't taxed so heavily.
I mean,
So
you
why not-
have to move to a remote island to escape taxes. I mean,
Well, they
there's-
did. It was.
Turned out it was bigger than they
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
now those taxes.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Hey man, this thing just keeps going.
the problem is that you're having to pay for if you're upset or you're feeling a certain type of way that you're having to use your money coming from Texas to help out California. You're going to be spending that same amount of money on taxes anyway. It's really just the government distributing them and directing them where they want at that time.
And see that
If California didn't exist and there was no fires, they're not going to give you a savings
No.
like, we spent less in taxes
Here's
this
your
year.
surplus money. They're not going to do
giving
that.
that back. So It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We've
but
already
there's-
paid for it.
There's also
We've already
places
paid
like
for it.
Red Cross, though. I mean, for let's say that we didn't have, the states or FEMA, we've got Red Cross, so people can still give money no matter where you're from. Doesn't matter state, country, or city. That money could still be given to a certain state that needs the help because that's who
Through
we
the
are
Red Cross,
as
which is a
humans.
corporation.
It became a corporation.
It's still
it
a
became
corporation.
So it's a government.
Yep.
I mean, okay. But as far as official tax filings, the government is not a corporation.
Yeah,
The
but
American
when you
Red
file your
Cross
taxes, you
is.
said if something happens to us or Texas and California, I want my money going to help them, okay? Thank you.
And as much as possible, because that's always challenging when we get diving into these hot topics, try to let each other, get your thought out. Because, as much as we talk here, it sounds like we're at a club. And it's like people are tuning in and it's like, I can't hear a thing. We just need to put a nice to it and it's club, welcome to Club Art of Dispute. Right. So as much as possible, let each other chime in and say your thing and then jump back with each other. So Ben's been quiet over there. So Ben's been quiet over there.
Oh, all I was going to say is, I don't think it should be a requirement, but I think that the government, if they're going to impose that upon the states, there should be some sort of incentive to encourage the states to contribute money to areas that have received disaster, like it would fall under charitable giving, to where you receive tax breaks at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter or whatever. They would everybody would pitch in instead of just being well, this state's going to do it. If everybody was going to get a tax break for donating money to disaster areas, then every state would be well, we're going to do that because it benefits us as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but you said at that point they don't give us that.
Yeah, we definitely have no choice in the matter.
They don't give us the illusion of hey, let me help out. They're no, we're gonna take this money from you, and as we see fit to use it throughout the land, that's how we should do it, and it should not be required. It shouldn't be required.
No.
So, for each of you guys, just kind of give me your yes/no kind of a thought, right? Presently, we have federal government taxes us, and then that tax goes to all sorts of different areas based on that administration. They're putting money where they want it to go, that sort of thing. And then when a disaster happens, if the state gets declared a disaster area, then the federal government dumps a chunk of money into that state, right? Rest of the states don't get a say, right? The individuals of that state don't get a say, right? It just happens, right? Then this local state itself has emergency funds, right? And we pay taxes into our local state, right? And then you have local city government, right? If you guys remember, Sylvester Turner proposed a 15% tax increase, right? Everybody went, what the heck? Right? And so, what do y'all think? I mean, should we have all these different levels and layers of taxation? What do you think, guys? Should the federal government be taxing us for an eventual emergency in Idaho, and then Idaho is taxing their citizens, and then local city government?
15% more for? What do you think was his thought behind, hey, we just had Harvey and everything's wrecked? let's make people pay 15% more in taxes, because in Ireland alone, they are being told to lift their houses up, which is like probably an easy 30K, just to raise those houses.
Bro, just go out to the corner on one side,
Yeah, just
throw some rocks under, and
put it up.
then
Yeah,
get a
so
group of people together.
we shouldn't be required, but like I said, it's just in that spirit of helping. When like a state may need that help with something devastating happens, and it's a God-made kind of created thing. It wasn't really man-made, so we all have to come together. A requirement? No. Should it just be a goodwill type of thing?
Yeah.
It should. Yes.
Are people naturally goodwill characters though?
Not in our government.
I think a lot more than we are like programmed to believe. I think people are pretty good-hearted, generally, like everyone. It's
But
just-
good-hearted with giving money. I always say,
that's
put
why
your
I'm
money
saying-
where your mouth is. For instance, immigration.
That's
Well,
what-
if you really, really, really just support an open border, then please open up your door first.
Right.
Really be there with
Commit.
your mouth.
Commit,
Because
yeah.
it's so easy to go on the internet and say, oh, I support this. But you're not. You
Right,
literally
Because I
all
don't
you
have to
did
pay
is
for it.
Yeah,
type
because
10 words.
with my
Well,
Yeah.
I think
And
that
it was
if
so
we give,
quick.
I think that if we give the government that power to like demand that states give over that money for an emergency, then we get into a situation where you're like, well, now the government can define emergency. We're in like billions, trillions of dollars worth
But
of debt
we've
as a
elected
nation,
these
you know what I mean? And if we give them that kind of power, then they can say, well, the whole nation is in a state of emergency, and you're all going to have to pay us extra taxes for whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let's think about what
I don't think
happened
that-
with Harvey,
Yeah.
and then Irma, and then Maria.
Yeah.
Last hurricane season. So everybody was running to our coasts to our aid because of Harvey and how it hit us, and just from coast to coast down
Yeah.
here in Texas. And then boom,
And see-
Irma hits Florida.
Yeah.
And so then everybody kind of has to also, not just
Then
resources.
it was like North Carolina last
Yes,
year, and like
yeah,
South
yeah, they were
Carolina and
just getting
stuff. It
hit
was
and
like,
hit.
That's like proof there in itself is that like people are already willing to help out in situations like that. There are already big groups of people that are willing to just throw their resources at us when we have a disaster. So if you then implement like an incentive for them to help out even more, you know what I mean? Then I feel like a lot more people would jump on board in helping out in those situations.
But I mean, we don't like, and I think that's the reason for the federal government and FEMA and these other agencies and these taxes is because it needs to be controlled from the top down. If there's not organization at the top of a pyramid, everything else falls.
You don't think the state should be in control of what they need?
Well, the state does control what they need, but when they need extra, they're going to go to the government.
Oh,
and the
yeah, they
government's
go
going
to
to
the
step in and
feds,
say, this is
yeah.
a disaster area, and we're going to allocate additional funds to be able to help out. The state can refuse those. They can.
Do you feel like the federal government is really efficient and effective with its use of funds?
No.
In comparison to what? We have to have something to compare it to. It's like
Anything?
Anything else we're spending our money
so
on?
what,
I mean, the national
what
debt speaks
government?
for itself.
What government
They're not.
are we comparing it to? Because we have to compare apples to apples. So what first world country government are we comparing the American government to then judge it and give it a grading point, a grading scale?
So, my question to that would be, the only way you can compare, and now you're talking about governments. I'm just talking about, is the government effective at managing the money and getting the job done?
Yes.
Right.
Is the European government, is the Australian, is the Canadian, these are politicians.
I think we have a couple dissenting viewpoints on the other end of the table. Posing that question, like the federal government presently, FEMA, that sort of thing, right? We give, they take. That's a better way to say this. They take money from us under penalty of the law, all right, and imprisonment and everything else, right? You will give me this money or you will go to prison, right? And so now they have it, and administration moves to administration, different philosophies, that sort of thing in managing the money. But regardless, we have FEMA, and FEMA gets a big chunk of money to handle Harvey or Ike or whatever, right? Take your pick, right? Do you feel like that is the most effective route to taking the money from the citizenry to solve the needs of that citizenry? So in other words, we have citizens here in Houston. Federal government 2 years prior, 10 years prior, whatever, says we're going to take taxes, right? And then 5-10 years later, Harvey happens, and we're going to give you the money back, back through the government. Right? So it's like makes this loop through the government, and now it comes back to the local community. Is that the most effective route for you in managing the emergency? Is there any other route? Is a private citizenry better at handling it? Is the federal government better at handling it?
I don't know, because I've never seen a private citizen fund outside of GoFundMe, and if we've been watching the news, we see how we're being totally played by the homeless man and his wife and husband, and it's like I can't say yes or no because I don't know.
Let me ask you this: did you volunteer after Harvey?
Harvey?
Yeah.
No.
That's fine. Not everybody had that freedom to do that.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did. Yes, I did.
Did you?
I actually got stranded in Harvey and had to walk like 15 miles to my house, and I didn't have the means to like do anything.
Okay, no, it's great. That's a great weird subset of Houston.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's really weird.
No, yes, I was stranded. Yeah, right.
I needed help. Yeah, yeah.
I volunteered and stripped out sheetrock and did all kind of stuff,
But requiring it because the government doesn't even see like, oh, hey, here's a federal disaster. Here's all that money we've been taking out of taxes. It takes a process, and it goes through such a long period of time that those people that even needed the help right then and there don't get it. So, like, why require it? Let's do it, because there are some places in our country that will never need that type of federal assistance because they won't have a natural horrible disaster.
What about Malibu? I mean,
That's California.
yeah, like these are $10 million homes.
Yeah.
Do they need federal aid? And because they have money, does that
But they're paying tax. I mean, I'm pretty sure, hopefully, they're paying some taxes on that. So they should expect a little bit from their state and their government since they've been putting in on a $10, $15 million home.
Would you think that I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. For me, we have local tax, right? We have city tax.
That's to pay our cops,
right?
teachers.
Then we have state tax. Then we have federal tax, right? Would it make sense that the kind of flow of aid would work in that order, so to speak?
You would think, but the local's going to run out of that funding quicker because those are the first responders that they need to take care of. The firefighters, the cops, the, ambulance, the nurses. Those people need to be taken care of first because they're the first ones that are working the minute something disastrous happens. Be it firefighters, be it, people that drive the ambulance.
I mean, but these people are all on salary, so it's not really gonna.
But they also have lives too.
It's like the military. People are saying, "Oh, it's gonna cost $10 billion to send the military to the border." No, they're on a salary. It costs them to sit in a bunk bed. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting paid every day, all day. All they have to do is pay for the gas.
And they could probably bum a ride.
Yeah,
they got it. I mean, they have like tanks and all these vehicles and stuff. It's just the gas.
That's another point. If they have like billions of dollars to like fund wars and crap like that, then why don't they have billions of dollars to take care of disasters that are happening?
That's a whole nother subject.
And we
That's
just
what I'm
said
saying. So that turns into, are they responsible with the money that we give them?
Well, we just
No, I
said
don't
before
think
the show started that some of FEMA's money has been allotted over to ICE.
Yeah.
That is a great moment to stop. I want to come back on that subject. When we come back, that ties into my statement, is the federal money the best controller of the money, and do they always use it for what we say we're going to use it? That's a great time to take a break. We have a word from our sponsor. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Phil and Derek's Restaurant and Jazz Bar, located in the midst of bustling Midtown in Houston. You'll find a laid-back atmosphere and ambiance reminiscent of the comfort of your own living room, coupled with the flair of pizzazz and glitz from live New York-style cabaret entertainment 7 nights a week. Phil and Derek's is not only the ideal restaurant with a great, long-standing wine selection, but also with a full bar as well. Phil and Derek's stock and knowledge of wines from Napa Valley wines, French Bordeaux, Spanish and Argentinian wines, just to name a few, are the envy of wine connoisseurs far and wide. Phil and Derek's Sunday Brunch was voted best morning after brunch for 3 consecutive years. Come indulge in the ample buffet of crepes, omelets, various salads, meats, complimentary mimosas, and much, much more. Enjoy delicious foods from the kitchen until midnight. We're equipped with large dining areas, ideal for every party need, whether business or pleasure. Come see and enjoy all that Phil and Derek's has to offer.
Welcome back to the Art of Dispute. We have a lot of fun during the breaks.
A little.
The conversation continues. We refill our drinks.
Heck yeah.
Which, by the way, great time to mention the Grain Cellar out in glorious Umble, Texas.
Umble?
Umble.
Ah, is that next to the Word of the King?
Yes. Preston out at the Grain Cellar in Humble, Texas, is a sponsor of the show. He sponsors all our wonderful adult beverages.
Thank you.
So thank you, sir. And if you guys are ever in the market to learn how to make your own beer or wine, he is the coolest dude to know. He's a guru on that.
Awesome.
Yep, he makes his own stuff. You can go out there and get little samples and stuff. It's really tasty. So anyway, very cool guy, Preston. Love to do. All right, we got a fun topic going on here. Disasters, national disasters, Harvey, the California fires, that sort of thing. Should the federal government be taxing us for that? Is it right that the folks in, Wyoming, I don't know, do they even have any disasters
That was
happen
my
in
question.
Wyoming?
Like, it shouldn't be required for other states that don't have to have
They
natural
don't even have a
disasters.
football team. I
Yeah.
mean, how can they have a disaster?
That's a
Right?
disaster in and of itself.
Oh, cut.
Exactly.
Take.
That
cut.
really
I mean, there's a few sports teams that are disasters, but
Oh.
Remember when we didn't have a football team in Houston?
Yeah,
and we,
that was a
I thought there was
disaster.
going to be riots.
Yeah.
That's when they needed to call in
That
FEMA.
was a disaster.
That was FEMA.
Exactly.
Right there.
Well, they called in FEMA that one time that Houston Texans played the Cowboys. Everything went eight.
Rioting.
Right? So
Wow,
is
you
it
said who?
is it Washington State's responsibility? Is it Idaho's responsibility?
Definitely Washington State. They really suck.
We don't like anybody up there anyway.
Yeah,
so
we're like
yeah.
none of them.
See, I don't know if you know. That's how I determine my allegiance to sports teams. It's geographically based.
Okay.
Right? I am just barely more a San Antonio Spurs fan than a Dallas fan, right?
Wow.
Yeah, just
Geographically.
barely. Because
Geographically.
it's like 10 miles closer, 20 miles closer, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
A little
so
bit.
just barely.
What's
right?
Philadelphia?
I hate the Washington Redskins. Can't stand them. They're terrible, right? So they're too far away. That's the problem.
And they're in D.C.
Uh,
It doesn't feel that far. Like, D.C. is not that far.
it's terribly far.
Yeah, we're in Texas.
Right?
Everything is far.
I don't-
Houston's an hour
I don't
away
like
from
the
Houston
Patriots.
there.
It is.
I don't like the Patriots because they're somewhere in New England. There's some.
Nobody knows where it is.
We're up there.
Nobody knows
It's
where it is.
northeast of Dallas. That's all I know. So,
Yeah, I just say that it's people helping people, and it's great for some people that live in other states, but then there's just some of us who live on these coastal states, which things.
hold up, Monica, because this is your question.
It is mine.
This is your question.
Pump the brakes.
You posed this before the break.
I did.
All right? It's all your fault. All right?
Most of it is.
Now, not only do we, have the issue of federal government and how well they deal with funds, but now we have the issue of different administrations moving money around to different areas that had been previously earmarked. So you don't even get the chance to say where your taxes are going, but now one president says, I'm going to allot this to FEMA, but another president moves it around to a different area of the government, right? You had mentioned that. I didn't know anything about it. Did you guys know anything about it? I didn't even know
some of
anything
you,
about it.
like maybe 3 of you guys knew about that, but yeah, some funds have been moved by our current presidency and cabinet to allow that. But why? Why would
About
you take?
time.
Why would you take?
Finally.
Yeah, there had to be something set in place. I mean, like America wasn't founded, and they were like, hey, every state, you put in, you're going to help out, you're going to help out. As America grew, as environments changed, because there's a reason fires keep happening in California. There's a reason.
And Trump said that.
Smokers.
Trump did say that. He said that there are things
Hipsters.
that can be done
Hipsters, yeah.
beforehand to help alleviate some of these future problems.
Yeah.
We need to be retroactive with trying to keep the fires from even starting and being able to spread in the way that they do in California. And we need it, and I do think that's a great statement. And you just alluded on that, like we can be doing stuff beforehand. Is Trump right by saying that there can be things done beforehand to stop this from becoming a natural disaster?
No. No,
We
it can't, because you can't stop a
forest
natural...
fires. We can't stop forest fires.
You can't stop a natural disaster. Can you stop a hurricane?
That's a very big difference.
It's a natural disaster.
No. You can't even put those together.
That is a pretty big difference, yeah. Because something has to start a fire. Hurricanes just
No,
happen.
a fire can start out in there from just the dry brush. It doesn't need a cigarette light. It doesn't need...
Facts, but these are all started by people. Like
Alternate facts.
No, it's natural. It's not started by people.
no,
Like, we didn't-
this fire was started by a person. It was a
This
campfire.
particular
So
one, but
let's
there
just
have
talk
been
about this
several
one.
I say we
others.
just
talk
fill
about
that
this one.
person.
Yeah, no, and who are they?
Well, but let's
you know,
talk
like
about
I'm
the
telling you,
other
like, what did they do?
1.75 billion,
Whoever
sir.
you are, you're sitting at home right now.
take Visa,
and you know you did
MasterCard.
it. You know you're the campfire
Oh, you're
fire
not at-
starter.
you're not at
you
home.
mess up all these homes in
You're
California.
not at
You
home.
destroyed Malibu and created some of the best sunsets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was nature. Some of those, even if we speak about this one right now, okay, it was man-made. But there have been thousands of fires in California and on that coast that were natural just because of dryness.
But is that my fault?
No, but as a
Like if
human,
I'm as a Texan.
as a human in your country, as Texans, we want to help everybody. So that's just our heart to give.
As-
California
as
probably
Texans,
take care of
we
themselves, though, just like
want
Texans
to help
can.
ourselves, and everybody else can take care of themselves.
Yeah, I believe you. Like Texans can take care of themselves.
We're big enough, and our hearts are
We're
just
just
as big.
like, so, I mean, like, we already give you 40% of the nation's energy. I mean, like, God, you bunch of mooches.
16% of the troops.
They give them 16%.
Of the troops.
Well, see, that's another thing. Maybe there's some parts, like there's our money that was set in place for certain reasons.
Just all the rest of the United States just tuned out. They're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they're like, "Ooh."
that host just called us mooches.
But I mean, so is California mooching? Is New York mooching? Like these are hotbeds
What?
of money.
What natural disasters does
Meanwhile, my friends in Colorado
New
were
York
like,
have?
what's
What's
the
that?
mooch, man?
Does New York have any natural disasters?
Yeah, they have a horrible rat population.
Sorry, Colorado, I'm joking!
That's so bad. That's so bad. Well, then they need federal funds. If the local funds can't help them get rid of that rat population, then other funds
How did we
need to
get
be
on
put in
rats?
place.
I made one
Money.
joke
Money.
about Colorado, and I come back and y'all are talking about rats.
That is so funny. I didn't hear you joke about Colorado.
See, this is what happens when you give,
We should
fun
join the
guests
same
alcohol.
conversation. Yeah, we should join the same
Yeah,
conversation.
back to the same page here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that, like, let's say, because I asked him what was a natural kind of disaster that, let's say, New York is having.
Or
And he
ever
said-
had.
Or ever had. He said rats. While that doesn't sound like a big deal, it is. It's disgusting.
It's a huge deal.
It is a
and
huge
it's a
deal.
safety issue.
It is a safety
It's a health issue with food and everything, and they're everywhere, and it's almost hard to combat them. They got rats walking around the size of Yorkies.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
local. You're like, oh God, what is this?
Well,
Look,
there's
that's
the
a rat.
answer.
You're like, that's a rat. Like,
Pets.
how old is this Yorkie? That's a rat. That's stop petting
My
it and
pet
feeding
rat.
it.
Ben, you've been awfully
been.
quiet. Ben, this whole segment, you haven't said
I have a
anything.
cattle
You've been
prod
over there.
behind my chair. I will get you
I pretty
burned.
much got it covered. No, I'm just kind of sitting over here thinking like, if a state is predisposed to having a certain type of disaster, you know what I mean? Doesn't that fall under certain like insurance policies rather than government aid?
Yes,
Ooh,
yeah, no, there's stuff that is covered by
Insurance.
insurance, and then there's stuff that's not. So,
And I think natural disasters. Are they covered or not covered?
I think
But why do we not want to help
'Cause we
these
have
people?
flood
Why are we
insurance.
not wanting to help? Like your side the entire time is let's voluntarily help them and donate time, but you don't want the government to donate money. Like, why is there that
No,
disconnect?
well, no.
Let me ask
I
you
think
this.
the government should donate money, but I think the government should also be responsible for offering an incentive to get other people involved.
An incentive.
An
Like,
incentive like tax breaks, charitable giving at the end of the year or the quarter.
if you donate money, there's always an incentive for a money donation.
Let
It's
me-
already built in. It's there. It exists
Right,
right
yeah.
now. You can donate clothes and write that off.
Let me ask.
But should it be required?
Yeah,
That's
we
the
presently
deal.
don't get that option. That's what he's saying. So,
But there's so many options we don't get. Like, you
So-
don't have enough money to send your kids to private school. Guess what? Public school it is. You don't get the option. There's 1,000 different ways we don't get an option.
Well,
in
if
this
I
world.
wasn't spending all my money on California wildfires, I might be able to send my kids to private
There you
school.
go.
Name the amount of money you've spent on the California wildfires.
Probably a boatload that I don't know about. Because it's taken
Would
from
it
me
be
at
any less?
gunpoint.
Would it be any? Where's the gun?
If I don't pay my taxes, my friend, I tell you, under threat of the law,
Wesley
who
Snipes
shows up
goes to
with
jail every 5 years. He never pays his taxes. He goes to jail every 5 years for 2 years. Still doesn't pay the taxes. Gets right back out and does a whole bunch of Blade movies. It's okay.
He doesn't pay the taxes on those. He goes right back to jail 5 years
They will
after.
take your butt to jail.
Yeah, you're going to jail. It's okay. You get free room and board, free health care.
but that's
It's the
Wesley
fast
Snipes,
track to
bro.
socialism right there.
That's Wesley Snipes, bro. That's like the top 1%. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
literally
Like,
the top one.
And he still goes to jail. Forget
yeah, he
about
goes to
it.
jail like
Wesley
it's
Snipes.
like he's going to
The
stand
true
on his orders
OGs,
and
Wesley
shit.
Snipes
Always-
and
Hey.
Martha Stewart, the
Always
true
bet on
OGs.
black. Always
Yeah.
bet on black.
But
Oh God, that
yeah,
is
no,
funny.
I don't
Hopefully
think it should
Wesley,
be
you're
required.
out right
Not
now.
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
So
there.
so you know, like, kind of the thought is there's a charity side where it's like, yeah, we want to help out. We want to help out, but we don't have a choice. There is no choice. It's a forced charity, right?
What was it
And
forced in the beginning?
Charity
though?
is forced by nature. Psychologically, we want to help people out.
That's not a force.
Psychologically, we want to help people out. No, it's forced by our DNA. We want to be able to
Yeah.
make other people's lives better naturally.
I agree with that.
I don't
agree.
disagree with
I
that, but
agree that-
they're drastically different things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
When I
No.
say forced charity via taxation versus DNA, that's
Yeah.
a very different thing.
But how are we going to get around it? Like, what is the option? Is there a solution to saying,
So let me
okay,
ask.
It shouldn't be a gunpoint. If you-
Right,
if
that's
somebody,
what I was
if
gonna
somebody, yeah, I apologize for interrupting you.
That's all right.
But like,
Go ahead.
if somebody already wants to help, but then you have Joe Blow walk up to you and point a gun to your head and be like, you better go help that person. Almost did it, bro. You better go help that person. But just
This
get it-
sideways F.
Just get it ready.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Yeah, no. 'Cause
Almost
somebody-
an
He had that gun, dude. Man got
if somebody
gangster.
like, you know, puts a gun to your head and says, you better help that person, but you're already predisposed to help that person, then you're offended because somebody has already like painted you in a negative light. Like you're not ready to help somebody, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that turns people off to wanting to help someone. You know what I mean? Like, you want to help people already. Do you have the means to? That's debatable. But I mean, when somebody points a gun in your head and tells you you're going to go help this person whether you want to or not, or whether you have the means to or not, then it makes you a little like, you know, opposed to like freely giving your resources no matter what you have.
I just don't know that the federal government is the most effective route to getting it
It's
done.
They're not, but who started it? The federal government, because there was a need there. Whenever at EP, let me know when it started, but there was a need for this assistance. There was a need for the government to step in and say, hey, we see you may not have all these funds. You may not have it locally. You may not have it statewide, but hey, let me take care of you. Come here. Let me get
No.
Oh.
I do reality TV for a living, so my life is dramatic. But you guys are being really dramatic right here with the whole at gunpoint. And, you know, like, it's just like so. It's like there's so much trauma here. Like Lord Jesus, we're living in one of the best countries on earth, if not the best.
Oh.
Hey,
We have so many benefits. We
I
have
don't disagree.
beautiful roads. Now I'm honorary
Did you say
Nigerian.
beautiful roads?
I'm honorary Nigerian, and I did say beautiful roads. And let me tell you a story. I'm honorary Nigerian for a lot of work that I've done doing Nollywood movies for a long time.
Okay.
Right before I started doing reality TV, and I have vehicle mounts. I love vehicle mounts to be able to get these nice driving scenes. And I'm working with this director as a director of photography, and I said, why are you not using my vehicle mounts? Why are we shooting the cars from the outside and watching them pass by the tripod? Let's just put a camera on there. He refused to do it. On the lunch break, one of the main actors said, put that vehicle mount on the car. I'm going to sacrifice my lunch, an hour lunch. Put that vehicle mount on the car. We shot it, came back in, previewed it to the director, executive producer. He said, Alexis, the reason I don't do this, because he's from Nigeria, the reason I don't do this is because our roads are so horrible we could never use a vehicle mount. This is beautiful footage. Don't ever record again in your life without the director telling you hit record. So I still got in trouble. But nonetheless, the roads are horrible everywhere.
Wow.
So yes, the roads are beautiful here. They are.
Have you been down Richmond?
Have you been to Nigeria?
No, thank you.
Okay,
I'm not.
there you
I'm
go.
French.
You go to Nigeria, lose your whole ring.
Yeah, no, I can't, as a female, probably can't go to Nigeria because I have the parts they want to take, so.
It's not like that. That was racist.
Oh, well.
That was racist.
We love
That was countryist.
Yeah, if you wanted drama, here we go.
That was countryist. We just lost all of our
That was
Nigerian audience.
countryist. That was countryist. That was racist against the entire country.
That was countryist.
Sorry, Joe.
We do not support the views of our guests on the
Sorry, Joe. We
show.
just lost Nigeria.
Nigeria's gone.
Yeah,
We've
no, they
lost
have
them.
awful roads, but we have awful things going on here in our own country. But
Well, look,
that's
guys.
why they have things set aside for when those problems arise to come together and help where that help is needed.
And that's the federal government.
Yeah.
Okay. So do
Because
you think it's good or
Because
bad?
it shouldn't be required.
But what do you mean it shouldn't, like, taxes? Like, what is it? Like, 'cause there's this huge it that's running around the room, that's running across this table.
The it is
and
the
it's
money.
like, I don't know where it is.
The it is the
it's
money.
not the F, but it's the it.
The F is not.
It's not. It's the it. It's
Well,
the
we're
it.
not gonna settle it on this show because we literally got 1 minute.
Oh.
It flies by.
It does.
Because we need to have a bad to the bone performance.
Yes.
Because this show is the art of dispute, and we always appreciate the arts on the show. Mad shout out to Chris Minamyer, who is out this week. He's just chilling, not feeling the best. The weather is on top of him.
He is under the weather for people that didn't catch
The
that.
weather is on top of him. I did not catch that. Thank you for holding my hand through that.
Yes.
Like, really.
Yes. I use interesting metaphors on
God,
this show.
that was
Thank you very
The
much.
weather's on top of him.
I was like,
I'm posting that on Facebook right now. I'm stealing
guys.
it.
Mr. Ben Ashworth, you're going to take it away, sir. Let us know what you're performing and where we can find it.
So my name is Ben Ashworth, and this song is called Map Song, and I wrote it for my cousin when he was stationed over in Iraq. This is the first time I'm recording it, so.
Woo.
I'll kiss the war goodbye. Hello to brighter sky. Can't wait to see my dad. Best friend I ever had. And I'll be coming back to you someday. Don't blink twice, 'cause I am on my way, yeah. Leave the front porch light on just for me. I'll be home soon, just you wait and see. I'll kiss the war goodbye. Hello to brighter sky. Oh mama, please don't cry. twice, 'cause I am on my way, yeah. Leave the front porch light on just for me. I'll be home soon, just you wait and see. And I'll be coming back to you someday. Don't blink twice, 'cause I am on my way, yeah. Leave the front porch light on just for me. I'll be home soon, just you wait and see.
Thank you.
Very nice, guy. Another freaking awesome performance right here live on The Art of Dispute. The only place you're going to find this mad material, make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel. Just search for The Art of Dispute. You'll find us. And we'll be back next week with another awesome show, another awesome performance. We're out.